What's going on, guys? Stock Scrubby here, back again with another video. Today, stocks went up, stocks went down, and we're going to talk about it. Keep in mind, this is not financial advice. I'm talking about stock news over gameplay, and without further ado, let's go, baby. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, today was a pretty choppy day. Started off pretty horrible. Things kind of rebounded quite a bit towards the end, but overall, pretty interesting day in the market. The main trend that we're seeing is quite a bit of selling off in the high-flying tech names. Hedge funds are selling tech shares at their fastest pace in a decade as rates spike. Basically, yesterday, the Fed had a meeting where they announced that they plan to pretty quickly start increasing rates and reducing their balance sheet, which, you know, as we've talked about, basically means that borrowing money is going to become more expensive. And as that happens, tech companies tend to get squeezed. Tech stocks are seen as sensitive to rising yields because increased debt costs can hinder their growth and make future cash flows appear less valuable. The tech-heavy NASDAQ composite has sold off more than 3% this week, underperforming the S&P 500, which dipped 1% during the same period. So yeah, basically, as debt begins to cost more and more money, the companies that tend to have a lot of debt to grow really fast tend to get squeezed and not make as much money, or it really cuts into future profits. And considering a lot of these companies are also trading at an insanely high multiple, which for those of you that don't know what that is, it's just, how many times the earnings need to be made for it to make sense at this value. For example, there was literally some companies trading at like an 80 times multiple, which means the company needs to make money at its current rate for 80 years for the current value to make sense. And if you're a company that's sensitive to rate changes, then yeah, that just makes no sense. Obviously, as rates rise, your multiple is going to come down because you just aren't as appealing to be making a lot of money. It's the way the ball bounces. When the economy's good, growth is great. Things really go nuts. Microsoft's up 50% in the last year, but as soon as things start to cool off, those tend to get hammered the most. Our next story has to deal with a dinosaur of a company that I'm honestly surprised still exists. Macys is closing more stores this year. Here's a map of which ones are on the list. Obviously, this isn't financial advice, this is just my opinion, but I feel like Macys department stores in general are definitely going the way of the dinosaur and will be extinct pretty shortly. I don't think in-person retail is ever going to completely die. I'm not one of those people that think that we're going to buy everything online. Here's just the reality of it. A department store has no purpose in a world where like Amazon and Walmart.com exist. There's just no reason for me to go to a place that has a bunch of okay versions of a bunch of stuff. If I want to shop for something in person, it tends to be something that's like a little bit more specific, right? If I really want, Nike shoes, I can just go to the Nike store. I don't have to go to Macys. There's a lot of places where I just feel like specialty stores make more sense. A camping expert just wants a store based around camping. He doesn't want to go to Macys. Sure, back in the 50s, before Amazon and internet existed, having one place where you could buy everything made a ton of sense. But there's a reason Kmart's gone. There's a reason Sears gone. There's a reason Macys is closing stores. It's just the reality that this super huge department store concept does not make much sense in the 21st century. If I wanted to get decent quality stuff at decent prices, I could do it online way easier than I need to drive to the mall and elbow a grandma in a Macys. Our next story has to do a little bit with technology and a little bit with space, but Virgin Galactic stock is being absolutely hammered. Virgin Galactic stock falls below debut price 2 years after going public. For those of you that don't know what going public means, it's called like an IPO, right? And it just means it's like the first time you're available to be bought on the stock market. Before that, you're a private company. It's a lot more complicated for investors to get involved. But after you go public, your goal is to never dip below your initial debut price, right? Because if you start trading at $40, going below $40 means literally everybody's starting to lose money that invested in it when it went public. And usually, if you've been growing for 2 years, it's pretty hard to dip below that, but it just goes to show the environment we're heading into where a lot of these high growth names are gonna get slammed. And I don't think Virgin Galactic's a bad company. I don't think space travel is going to disappear. It's just the reality of when there's not as much free money rolling around the economy, the totally conceptual businesses of maybe one day we'll mine an asteroid or maybe one day we'll do tourism to space. Those are still concepts that might work one day, but people are going to prioritize putting money places that are 100% going to be making money as the economy cools off. So I'm not surprised that Virgin Galactic's getting slammed. In fact, I would assume that most space-related stocks are going to have a pretty rough year, especially as rates rise. Because if you want to talk about a company that doesn't really have any concrete earnings, if your company plans to be the first people to mine an asteroid, you don't really have a whole lot of income coming in outside of new investors. And as that investor pool tends to dry up and look for more earnings, you're going to have yourself a bad time. I don't think that, Virgin Galactic is a bad company by any means. It's just the nature of the economy we're starting to transition into. I don't think it's garbage. I don't think it's going to go bankrupt, but it might have a pretty rough time stock price-wise. Next up, we're going to be talking about a sign that people pay a lot of attention to in the economy, the unemployment numbers. And it's looking like the new variant might be wreaking havoc a little bit more than previously thought on the amount of jobs. U.S. weekly jobless claims total 207,000, higher than expected amid Omicron spread. Honestly, I'm not surprised about this, as more and more places are pushing towards limiting their hours or closing locations or all that type of stuff. Obviously, the people that are employed there are going to be definitely not working. Your place isn't open, no one's paying you, right? Like, that's just the way it is. And I think as the spread continues and we continue to see more and more limited hours and more supply chain issues, this might become more of a problem. Because this isn't any worker's fault, You guys know that I don't believe in screaming at minimum wage workers. They have no control over corporate policies. But yeah, if you have a supply chain issue, labor shortage issue, and on top of that, yield rates are going up, all that wombo combo might lead to you being closed more. If you're closed more, you don't need as many part-time workers, so the jobless claims go up. And I do feel bad for the workers more than anything. Being jobless in this economy has to be pretty scary. Sure, over the last year, there's been a lot of safety nets. But that being said, it's never feeling great to be unemployed. And I just hope they find a way to get this more under control. My biggest fear is that the combination of, rising interest rates is going to cause assets to drop. And at the same time, places are going to be cutting back because of supply issues. If all of these things happen to wombo combo at the perfect time and just boom, 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 all right next to each other, it might lead to a pretty bad economic situation. Not financial advice. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. But yeah, this is something I'm going to be keeping an eye on for sure. Moving over to another dinosaur of a company that actually seems like they're trying to at least get on the right track. Coca-Cola switching over to the alcohol aisle. Coca-Cola and Constellation Brands team up to create alcoholic Fresca cocktails. So obviously Coca-Cola, the company, owns Fresca. It's like one of their subsidiary brands, and I guess they're going to be doing prepackaged cocktails. I've been seeing a lot of these whenever I'm in a grocery store or something. Not that I'm always looking for alcohol, Just it's something that I've seen that they have prepackaged cocktails now. It's not like Coke has a problem selling a crap ton of products, but yeah, if they add a little bit of variation, start getting sales from other industries where you can have higher prices because there's other ingredients like alcohol, it could be good for the company overall. I think Coca-Cola is just at that point where it's such a behemoth that insane growth is just really difficult for it. But hey, maybe a foray into this type of thing, if it's successful, could just open up a new market for them. I don't know if they've ever really worked with alcohol before. They seemed like a company that, at least from my understanding, tries to keep things relatively family friendly. So I just thought this was interesting, so be on the lookout. And if you're a big Fresca drinker, double check the label so you don't end up getting tipsy, because that would be unfortunate. And our last major story is about GM. They've been in the news quite a bit lately, I don't know what to tell you. They're just doing a whole lot. It just is the way the ball bounces. GM reveals new self-driving Cadillac concept car, plans to offer personal autonomous vehicles by mid-decade. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is where I think the real innovation in cars is coming. Don't get it twisted. Electric vehicles are cool and whatnot. I know that they're run on batteries. You can charge them solar, all that good stuff. That being said, I think it's really dope that we're getting to the self-driving car thing, because, once that happens, the sky's really the limit. Imagine being able to sit in your car, plug in the destination, and then, go to sleep, and you wake up and you're, in the parking lot of your destination. Okay, maybe that's, not perfect, but you get what I'm saying. All of a sudden, a 15-hour car ride doesn't seem as stressful if I can just bring my laptop in a hotspot and, just watch YouTube videos the entire time. I just feel like it opens up quite a bit of travel. Commutes become a lot less stressful if you don't have to be driving the entire way. So the more car companies that work on autonomous driving, the better, in my opinion. Obviously, I know some people disagree, but I just thought it was interesting that GM's doing that, so I figured I'd share it with y'all. All right, and last but not least, I'll just give you guys an update on all the major indexes. As it currently stands, not much time left in the market. Dow Jones down about 0.35%, not too shabby. S&P barely up 0.08, Nasdaq barely up 0.03, so pretty neutral day, nothing too wild, not as bad as the last couple ones. And rounding it out, we've got the Russell 2K, which is about up 1%, so not too shabby if you're looking at the small cap stuff. But yeah, overall, that's going to do it for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to press the like button. Let me know in the comment section down below what you thought. And of course, subscribe if you're new and turn on notifications. You know, I don't usually beg for something specific, but if you guys could help me out and comment on this video, I just want to see if it affects how many views it'll get. So literally comment whatever. It's a test for me, so I'd appreciate it. Other than that, if you want to be a real G, link to the intro song down below, along with a link to my podcast, The Scuffed Cast, or if you want to be really awesome, code SCRUBBY at the G Fuel checkout. You get a discount on G Fuel, helps me out, everyone's a winner. And yeah, on that note, guys, that'll do it. Don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot, and hopefully I'll see each and every single one of you guys next time. I'm out. Peace.